Morning, guys. Gonna go do a little work on the car today. Got some updates. The challenge of every day, doing one thing every day. I didn't video every day. I think day 8 was the last one. Today would technically be 9, I don't know, 9 through 11, something like that. So let's be honest, I am keeping track because this is more for me than it is for you. I have to stay on this stuff or it's going to end up in a big old pile. But we do have some updates. Well, let's go see what the boys did today, how much they got done. Should be working hard. No, nobody's here. All right, well, as you know, it's just me anyways. You know, it's a nice day. Let's get some door stuff going on. So I got a couple things I'm going to show you. Oh, updates. I got to stop this door. Otherwise it seems to have an attitude problem. One thing, we walked right by it. First of all, see that white stuff right down there? Where is it? Right. See it? That should be the end of it. Had enough, I can tell you that. 9 months of winter is ridiculous. But I've been sourcing some products, and I don't know if you can see that thing. Hang on. Little guy. Can't reach. So that is a 12-bolt rear end for a 68 to 72 A body. Found that on Marketplace. I kind of looked into the 10-bolt I have in here. I was going to put a mini spool in it. It has 326 gears in it, or 336. Would have worked, but I don't know. You know, I had to get all the drum, the brakes. Probably it didn't look good inside, looked pretty dirty and like, so what have you. So I found this thing on Marketplace, and oh, by the way, I was probably going to be into that rear end, I don't know, $600-700 probably by the time it was all said and done. But I called this guy on this one. It's like I said, it's a 12-bolt. I gave $1,000 for it, I'll just be honest with you. He wanted $1,200, and he actually said, oh, I'll take $1,000. So pretty spendy, but you know, something like that lasts a lifetime. It's got strange gears in it. It's got 456 gears, which should be entertaining. It's got 31 spline axles, all the brakes, everything's done there. So we'll probably do a video on that. And I got to go under there and check out the Chevys. These Chevys were 4-link before 4-link was really a thing, but I got to check the bushings and all that good stuff, but we'll get to that some other day. So other things that I've been doing this week, because every day, so I did a video on a tranny, my mistake on the tranny lines, not putting the elbows on. Well, let me tell you, I laid underneath of this thing for, I don't know if you can see them in there. You can see, yeah, maybe a little bit. But anyways, here. So I didn't put the elbows on. Big mistake. So I laid under there with a wrench, slowly got them elbows on, and then still had to get the lines on. It took a while. I don't know time-wise, but I'll say one thing about these metal, I guess they're metal type, they're 6AN fitting lines all set up for you. Pretty reasonable, but these things are not, let's say they're not real flexible. So I think if I did this again, I would get the same stuff I used for the fuel line, which was this, it's more of a cloth braided, way easier to work with. So yeah, got that done. And then in that same video, the old intake, marinated that for about 2 or 3 days. I don't know if you can see in there, still a lot of carbon buildup. I don't know. I don't know what else to do. You can't go in there with a sander and do anything crazy like that, but I got it pretty clean. So then the other day, set you guys right here and see if I can illustrate something. So back in the day, back in the derby days and the race car days, we used to take like a rod similar to this. We'd weld like 2 washers on it, and then we'd take our piece off of the transmission, usually drilled that out, I can't remember exactly, and then we would put a bolt through that, and then we bolt our washer, and this basically would stick up through the floor, and this was your shifter. You just shift it, you know, park, forward, whatever. You get the picture. Anyways, I didn't really want to do that. You kind of got to cut a decent sized hole because it never actually lines up like you want. So, in all my wisdom, I decided to make a shifter. Now, let me show you a piece here. I had some of this flat metal. I cut 2 8-inch pieces, which is these right here. I drilled a hole, and I'll show you what the hole's for. Easy, easy. So when your shifter comes out of your transmission, the way I'm facing the car right now, if you pull it towards you, that would be first gear. But what most of them do is they come up and then they wrap around. So now your drive is all the way forward. Am I making any dang sense here? Yes. If you pushed it in, it would be drive. If you pulled it out, it would be first gear. But anyways, you've got to make a loop with that thing. Well, I was going to try to hook the shifter up. I kind of cut it too short. And if you know anything about these shifters, they have 2 pieces, kind of your aftermarket ones, but they slide together, so everything stays solid. So when you try to hook up a piece of cable, and you go to shift, that cable wants to bend and what have you. And I know all this because I tried to do it on my skid loader one day, until I just bit the bullet and ordered one for the skid loader, which made sense. So anyways, back to the shifter. So I was just going to find a piece of rod like this, flat, and put a bolt on it. I was digging through the old scrap pile out there, and does anybody know what this is? You can write it down in the comments. I know you've seen it before. If you've done any kind of grass cutting, I'll just leave it at that. But this was laying in the scrap pile. So what I did was I drilled these 2 holes. I held this, hopefully I can get a view of this for you, a decent one. Before I welded this together, that bottom piece there, I thought that'd be handy because it had a hole already built in it. I don't know if it's going to work for my application, but we're going to find out. So anyways, then I stuck this about 1/4 of an inch from hitting the bottom of that. And then what I did, and I don't know if there's a front or back to this, but not really. I did put this other piece in here. Probably gonna have to cut that out. I don't know yet. What I did, since I cut the shifter too short, was I did the right thing. I went on the old Google, and I Googled shifter cable. Well, what I found was about a 48-inch cable that's made for midget cars and sprint cars, and it has both of your eyelet ends on each end. So I'm thinking this is going to work. Now you know what our application is, or is it still a secret? I can't remember. We're going to keep it a secret unless you already know. If you know what we're doing with our car here, if you watched the previous video, you might have an idea. So hopefully you can see this, but what I did was this protrudes by, I don't know, let's say 1/4 of an inch. So I put 4 washers on that side, and then my shifter lever comes in, and you got to be kind of handy here. And then I got a bushing. I didn't have to cut this one. It actually was a little bit short, but that's what the washers are for. So then I put that bushing in there. Let's see if we can get one more washer in there. And yeah, probably we'll see how this all works out. Probably double nut that end. But what I ended up here with is how this should work, is this should be something like park. And as you shift the gears down, all the way back should be first gear, second, third, neutral, reverse, neutral, forward, park. Anyways, you get the idea. So, cheap. I literally don't have anything into this. And be honest with you, if you wanted to make one of these and you didn't have a welder, which I probably shouldn't have a welder if you've seen these welds, you could bolt all this together. In this channel, right, that's another piece I found. It happened to work out pretty darn perfect. I don't know where this is going to go in the car yet. I want to get the shifter. And then I have the seats. I got to get the seats in there. So I don't know if I might have to cut some of this off where the seat comes over, or if it'll be under the seat or forward. Not really sure yet. But I think that was what day was that? That was day 9 we built that thing. Didn't spend too much, you know, there's a little thought process there. I think there's other ways you could do them too, where if you were just shifting, you could have your bolt down at the bottom, and then have your shifter rod could be up here. So this is what I'm using for idea of a shifter. You could have a bolt here, and you could have your shifter up here. I just thought that this, you know, let's go with it. I think if you really wanted to, you could probably do a really nice job with one of these and make it look nice. You could put it in a nice car. But you see what we're working on. It's not nice. So anyways, enough of that. So, back to the old intake. So I got some parts for this. I got the gaskets. Kind of go over them quick. So I'm probably going to go into a rant here on the auto parts stores. There's 4 of them in town. Let me get to this first. Hang on before I lose it. We got to keep calm. Anyways, I ordered these. They came with a kit. I'll see if I can bring you over here. So if you know anything about these LS motors, there's knock sensors. So I bought new knock sensors, which I'm glad. I just did it because once I had it open, if you see this one here, how in the world did that get broken off like that? This is what it should look like. I know some people say you should use AC, Delco, Knox, any sensors, and I probably don't disagree with them. But I did the right thing. I bought a cheap kit and some cheap knock sensors I put in there, so they'll be fine, I'm sure. So anyways, it came with these gaskets too. It's all in one kit, fairly reasonable. I want to say that one of them knock sensors uptown was like $55. I think I bought this whole kit for, I shouldn't say for sure, but I want to say it's like 30, 40 bucks. So anyways, these things have little clips on them. They snap right on there. You can probably go with somebody. They kind of follow the port here. You can probably look on the old interweb. Somebody's actually knows what they're doing. And find that stuff. So they should snap right on, like so. And, oh, where did that piece go? When I open this box, well, it's gone. Oh, right here. Happened to be, that thing was broke off, floating around in the box. So I'm going to do the right thing and put that on anyways. I think the bolts should hold it down. Well, they're going to hold it down. We're going to stay positive here. But back to the auto parts stores. Yeah, so this one side's going to be flopping in the breeze. I don't know if you can see that. Flopping in the breeze there. I think it'll be all right. They have a little groove where they set down in there. Anyways, these bolts are kind of cool too. They have a little whoop-de-doo on them, so they should stay in these holes when you pull this whole thing apart. Mine had to sit in the bathtub for, oh, I don't know, 2-3 days. Anyways, so we're gonna put what do they call this thing? I should know this. If you're making educational videos, you should know what you're talking about. This is, let me think about it. Kind of got the old brain freeze going right now. So, kind of one nice thing about these LS motors, it seems like a 10 millimeter, an 8 millimeter, and is it 15? I think a 15 wrench, or 15 millimeter. It's just about every bolt with them 3 wrenches. Now, similar to the old 350s, Chevys, whatever, you could tear a whole car apart with 2 wrenches, 1/2 inch, 9/16. There might be one with a 5/8, but anywho, so get a 10, like I said, a 10. 10. Usually when you make these videos, you want to be more prepared, but if you know anything, been watching anything I've done here, you know I'm not. This will probably be the 8. No, that's 10. I don't know if there's any torque spec on this. I don't think so. I'm gonna give her the feel snug, give her a little oomph right at the end. This is all work in progress, what we're doing here. So, gaskets are on. Everything's hooked up. So I should put the coil, I think I'm gonna put the coil packs on and the injectors. Actually, I could put the injectors on now. Let's do that. So, I didn't really clean these. I guess you can get new, like their bigger injector. I'm telling you, this stuff's starting to escalate a little bit. So we're gonna just do the right thing and put these injectors on. Now, what you wanna do is label which side they go to. I don't believe I did. So I'm gonna do what looks right. They're kind of at an angle here. So these look like they'll pop in there fairly the right way. I think you just got to give her a little snug down. They look like they seat in there pretty good right up to the, see if we can get a little better view for you here. This is hitting on what? Why is that hitting on that? Where'd that come from? Oh boy. So, educational, right? If I was smarter, guys, if I was smarter, you gotta bear with me. Everything's gonna get better the longer we do this. So knowing this is the front of the engine, knowing the fuel lines come in the back, would make sense that this goes on this way. Sorry about that. I don't know if you can see that right here. They kind of pop right into that. Oh, there goes your gasket. They just pop, they just stick right in there. Obviously they don't. Things were going well. And I don't know what is going on here. So they just pop in, they just stick right in there. Well, you think that would go in there. That other side snapped right in. This side, I don't know what's going on. I do not know what's going on. You know, this, maybe I'll probably end up buying some new one of these at this rate. What I was getting at is things have escalated a little bit on this. That one looks good, but it's kind of this one in the middle. I might have to take a hammer to it. You know why I do videos and I don't do a whole lot of editing? Because most people are like me. They're just doing their best. They're trying to figure out things as they go. And as you could ask for help, that'd be the right thing to do. I actually got a TV right over there. What I should do is pull up the old YouTube, see what I'm doing wrong. Actually, I think they're all in there. All right, so let's put that gasket back on. Try not to put this back on. So I'm going to spare you guys some of the details here, because, all right. What I think happens is when these bolts, the injectors go down there, they pushed on my gasket, knocked it off. So with that said, I think I'm going to wait to put the coil packs on until it's on the engine. So I just filled I had some tape on that stuff. I just filled it with the mouse houses that happen around here. I didn't trust it. I'm not surprised they didn't go in there and chew that toilet paper up or napkin up and make a house in there. But it's only been a day. So, I should show it. Oh, I showed you. The knock sensors, steam port, all that was back in. So, let me bring you over here. And we'll see if we can struggle in this together. Like I said, I'm not much for editing. You guys kind of get what you get. I don't know if you like the content. I don't know if I care. Of course I care. It's a bad attitude. It's a bad attitude I got. So anyways, we got some of this goofy stuff. We know this guy here goes over here. He goes under the fuel rail by the looks of it. Oh, I don't know if you can see this. Let me bring you in here. I'll show you a couple things. One is, I think it's an EGR. Where is it? See this big hole right here? That, I gotta get a block off plate for that. And then on the exhaust came up to, I could show you that piece so you actually knew what I was talking about. Like I said, you're not going to get much editing out of me today. And I could go into why, but computers are hard. And I'm not very smart. So I'm working on it. Let me go grab that piece. All right, I'm back. So this goofy thing right here comes off of your exhaust and then it fits into that hole I showed you. Well, we're not using that. So, and it's the craziest thing when I was online trying to find these block off plates. eBay, so you punch it in a computer and it comes up and there's all these funky companies. It's like, ooh, I don't know if I want to buy anything from them. And you go to their website and you're like, yeah, this is sketchy. So I tried to put it in Amazon, nothing. Tried to put it in eBay, nothing. So once again, I did the right thing and I went back to the sketchy website because they sell both of them as a kit for like 19 bucks. I'm sure I could have fabricated something, but whatever. It's 19 bucks shipped to your door. So I ordered them from the sketchy website. I'm sure it'll be a month. I don't know. But anyways, so back to this intake. Kind of got some squirrel stuff going on today. So you got to get all these bolts, let's say, started. That'd be the wise thing to do. And we'll just kind of get all them started. There we go, set down on there. Right, right, come on. Come on, work with me. So, missing a bolt. I'm trying to think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bolts per side. And I'm not going to go into all of this because the last thing you guys want to do is waste your time watching me screw in a couple bolts. But I am going to talk a little bit about I remember that gasket that was wonky? Which one was that? Well, it looks like it's seated in there pretty good. That one's tightening up a little bit. So there's a, good. Bear with me again. I said I'm trying not to waste your time too much, but I kind of want to give you an idea of what's going on here. If you ever decide you want to tackle one of these. And, what is, never mind. I don't know if you watched me put this engine in. That was fun. That was one of them videos when you make it, you're like, whatever that guy's doing, don't do that. Yeah. but anybody see where that other bolt went? Oh my goodness. It's not like you can go to Walmart and pick one of them up. Oh boy. Well, we'll get in search of a little bit of information I Googled, and I'll show it to you. Here. See if you can see this. So this is how they're saying to tighten this down. You start in the middle, go side to side, 3, 4, 5, 6, kind of crisscross pattern, like any manifold you would have done at any time. They're saying you torque them all to 44 inch pounds. So you got to decipher that off your torque wrench, and then your second round, you follow this order, to 89 torques. So I think we're good enough. I'm not gonna bore you with all that torquing an intake manifold down. I do have my rant to go over yet. You know what? Let's do a couple rants, should we? I mean, why not? This is an informational video. You know, my first one's going to be is this state I live in. And telling you what, I'm not getting into politics. Not on this channel. First of all, when you get into politics, and you're never going to change anybody's mind. If they're Democrat, you're not changing their mind to be a Republican. Same, vice versa. Okay? We're all in this together. That's what I'm going to say. But anyways, this state, let me find that thing. I wrote it down here. I just heard this the other day. And talk about getting hot under the collar. So Minnesota legislators are trying to pass a bill. It's called HF 3865. So what that bill pertains to is if you have collector plates or pioneer plates, I think it's them too, you will only be able to drive your car on Saturday and Sunday and not before or after dark. That is just about the craziest crap I've ever heard of. And I'm going to tell you what, hopefully I've straightened up over the years, but if that passes, I'm driving it whenever I feel like. I really don't care. These people don't have anything better to do than worry about some guy driving his 1965 GTO on Thursday, going to maybe he's taking his grandkids for ice cream or something. Good grief, you guys. Stop it. All right. Gosh, I feel so much better. I just had to tell somebody about that. So anyways, good torque spec. Got that on there. Like I said, I'm not going to bore you with the torque specs. Oh, you know what? Next thing was, where is it? See this thing right here? This is for a 99 Chevy pickup. These are metric threads. So I thought, well, I use the PTFE, the AN fittings, 6 AN lines. Where are they at? I went to the 4 parts stores, and I'm not going to name names. And I went to L&M Fleet and Ace Hardware. All I wanted was to get this AN fitting to fit in there. So I'm not sure, what do they call them? It's like an adapter fitting, right? You guys know what it is. There ain't, not one of them places has a line that fits in there. I got a piece of brake line. Yeah, that's great. All I want to do is hook this up to that. It's ridiculous. I'm not sure what these places do. They sell oil and oil filters and brake drums. Nothing else. Anyways, I went on back to the old website, and for 20 bucks, they send me a filter with AN lines. I don't know why I just didn't go there in the first place. All right, so there's one more thing I want to show you before I get going here. And where is it? Hang on. Take a break. Get a soda. We'll get something cold to drink. Here I go. So, I got this thing. You guys read that? What's that say? 2-person dome tent. So one of my next things is I'm going to have to figure out how to set this up inside of that car. And I'll show you why. We got gifts, guys. Gifts. We have nothing we need here. Here we go. So this package finally showed up. We should look at this together. I don't think I want to get into it. Actually, I hope it's what I ordered. There it is. Look at that. Huh? Instructions. No way. So you know what that is? That is a standalone harness for LS swap. For 4L60 plugs into your transmission. And this is made for your ECM to mount inside of the car. So, as this will be all plug and play, pretty easy to figure that out. Once I get inside, it comes with a little fuse box with some relays for your fuel pump, all that good stuff. I'm probably not going to video that. It's, you know, we're trying to keep the language down here. We're just trying to be, you know, just try to do the right thing, and we talked about this before, professional. So yeah, hopefully this all works out. I know there's a website. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but they have, like, if you wanted to take your PCM, your original wiring harness, you can pull that thing all apart. It shows you where every pin goes, everything goes on that. I don't know. That thing was, I want to say it's 100 bucks shipped. It's 90 bucks tax, whatever. I just seemed like that was the easy way to go for me. So, I'm trying to think, anything else a couple other things I'm thinking about. Since these are laying right here, is this the one? Here was that exhaust port block off that I needed. Look, I can buy headers for $300, but I'm on a budget here. This is, for what we're doing with this car, the cheaper, the better. Why am I even doing this? I have no idea. Probably because it's relaxing. It's actually frustrating at times. But anyways, so I'm just going to use them. I'm going to assume the O2 sensors are good. They came out of the running truck. I don't know. I do know it took a lot of heat to get that goofy thing out. This thing. I mean, I had her glowing red. And then, once I got, just spit it out. Just stop. So anyways, I don't think there's anything else I can show you today. things were, I'm going to put the coil packs on. It's 1, 2, 3, it's like 4 bolts. They sit on here. I'm going to get that torqued down. I'm going to probably start working on the cable for the gas pedal. I saved the one off of the truck. So that's obviously going to fit on this side nicely. We'll have to see how it fits on my existing brake pedal. It looks, there's already a square hole. Does that make sense? Would it be a hole if it's square? Yeah, it's a square hole. Anyways, so we'll see how that hooks up. I did cut the original gas pedal out of the truck too. That's definitely not going to work. I kind of laid that in there. It's way too wonky. But hopefully I can get this end to fit into the original gas pedal. And I talked about the steering linkage, or steering linkage, the shifting linkage. It's got steering, guys. It's, yeah. So I think that's probably where we're going to be at for now. Like I said, I got to get my tent set up, probably button up some of this stuff, get my tent set up. And then I'll have a video on the, how I'm going to do the mounts on, well, that video is going to be on these mounts right here for the header panel. I'm going to do them a little different way than normal. Bushings were pretty well shot, but I got to try to use them somewhat, or I have to create some kind of spacers. But I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there. As far as everything else, you should be good to go. And keeping on it every day. If you like content, please subscribe. Give her a like. Ring the bell. What else do you do? Do what you want. All right. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, guys. Stay on them projects.